Okay, as Finance Minister Henry Rotich, in the 2018-2019 budget presented to the Parliament last week, proposed a repeal of the rate cap. Analysts at Exotix Capital looked at the two scenarios for how a repeal might play out, with their forecasts suggesting KCB Bank and Equity Group would be the biggest beneficiaries. Now, joining me now to talk more about this is an analyst with Exotix Capital Kenya, Faith Wangi. Good afternoon, Faith. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Now, the Finance Minister has proposed to repeal the interest rate caps that's legally known as the Banking Amendment Act 2016. How possible is this, given that it has to be approved by the very Parliament that originated the law?
It is possible, given that the finance bill has to be passed within 90 days after June 30th, and already, given that it's already been put through Parliament, then all the government has to do is convince the members of Parliament that this is the way to go. Given that the entire budget is also hinged on this particular bit being achieved by government, so yes, there is room for that. Also, there's a finance markets and conduct bill, which also has room for regulating rates. So that's still an option for them.
In your report, you noted that KCB and Equity Group will be the biggest beneficiaries of the repeal. Why?
For KCB and Equity Group, it's a function of cost of funds as well as access to the retail and SME market. So for KCB, they have very low cost of funds of about 2%. And also at the same time, KCB has access to about 40% of the retail market, which can be priced at a premium compared to the rest of the corporate market. For Equity Group, their book is more or less SME at about 70% of their loan book, and this can be priced as a premium compared to the rest of the market, especially the corporate segment. You'd find the corporate segment is borrowing at about 12%, 13%, while the retail is borrowing at closer to 20% rate. So that makes a difference for the two banks.
And then what's the likely impact of the proposed plan on monetary policy?
One of the key things that we noticed about monetary policy since September 2016 is that it hasn't been very effective. We have not seen monetary policy transition being effective in the market, given that any adjustment in rates was affecting both the lending rates and the deposit rates. Should the repeal actually happen and go through entirely, then we'd see monetary policy being a lot more effective in the market. We'd see monetary policy be able to transition in the market correctly in terms of either easing liquidity or increasing liquidity in the market.
And if it goes through, what's your view on private sector credit growth in 2018 and 2019?
So in 2018, I expect private sector credit growth to remain slow at about 2%, given that the rate cap repeal will probably happen by September. But then in 2019, I do expect loan book growth to go to about the low double-digit numbers for overall loan book growth. I don't expect it to go back to the 20% levels for the industry, given that the industry is grappling with a lot more challenges than it was prior to the rate cap.
And are there some downside risks?
One key downside, obviously, is that we'd have borrowers exposed to much higher rates than they are borrowing at currently. And also, there's still no regulation on how those rates will actually be controlled in terms of any more transparency that could have in the market. So that's still a gray area. And yes, on the ground, we do have some concern from consumers in the market.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.